You want to know why I'm super fucking grumpy, Josh?
Tell me why you're grumpy, Matt.
Because my children's school somehow think my 6.5-year-old and my 11-year-old give enough of a fuck about school to be online and in school with us not completely on top of them the entire time saying, are you on this thing? Are you paying attention? Are you listening?
I get that, man. Are they doing, I know they're 100% virtual, but are they doing like live teaching where they have to be like paying attention to the teacher?
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
And they're just not?
No.
Oh, well, fucking drop the hammer, man.
Okay, give me solutions. I'm wide open.
Corporal punishment.
Doesn't work. Totally tried it. Would do it more if I could.
I
don't have
a solution.
If the law were allowed. Yeah, I know, because there fucking isn't one. So it's be interrupted every 5 seconds. Because my wife can't do it alone. I'm working. This is all recorded, by the way. This is for the international. We're an international podcast, Josh. For the international audience to understand the plight. And I'm not saying end all restrictions, open the world up, because I know that isn't a solution either. I just know how fucking frustrating this is. And it's just fucking hard, dude.
I get it, man. Trust me, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, why can't your kids just pay attention? Like, I know the reality of that situation, but it does suck.
I mean, River is 6.5, so I give him a lot more leeway to fuck off, whereas Jackson, now, however, I was Jackson, and I had to be online, I would do probably what he is doing, which is getting kicked off the fucking platform for making weird noises into the microphone. That's what happened yesterday.
All right, so that's the part that frustrates me, because welcome back to Obstacle Discourse from Davis and Chace, by the way. Your safety is our number one priority. We got other things to deal with, though. So why don't the teachers control that? Like, they can keep the students muted, or at least they should have the ability to keep the students muted, right? So if a kid is like, if a kid's acting up or making noises or being disruptive, like they would be in school, right?
Right. Well, he was warned, right? Jackson stopped doing that, right?
Yep.
So she booted him, and I think that kind of forces them to get their parents. I think maybe that's part of it. So now Stacy's actually talking to her now. I was going to talk to her, but then she was late, blah, blah, blah. Then he was typing stuff. River actually figured that one out. River figured out the chat and Zoom to like a friend thing. But it's just super frustrating. It's just super duper frustrating. But honestly, it's like literally if you leave the room and you go, Jackson, what are you doing? Oh, I'm supposed to be in this class. Okay, then you try to get ahead of it. So you go, okay, Jackson, what class is next? What do you think his answer is?
Either I don't know, or
the answer is I don't know.
Yeah, it's right? I don't know.
Right. So then I sit there for a second and I go, you know that sheet of paper with all your classes on it? Right? Now let's say an hour goes by, right? Jackson, do you know what class you have next? So the first day, it's only Thursday, unbelievable. The first day was a series of, I can't get into the class, right? And, oh shit, you froze on me. It was a series of, I can't get into the class. And I wasn't sure if it was him or them, right? Because we literally couldn't get into, because they restrict the fuck out of these computers. So like they had to allow them individually to have their Google accounts log on through the Zoom, blah, blah, blah. Anyhow.
Right.
So Jackson, if he can't get in, is his solution to ask the teacher, get me? No, it's to sit there and fuck off. Yeah. And I'm like, Jackson,
right.
Well, what are some ways you might have been able to get in touch with your teacher? I don't know. Send him an email. Okay, that's one. Shoot that off. What's another way? I don't know. Message him on Google Hangouts. Great. 2 ways, which if you gave a shit, you would have already done. It's not like he doesn't know those things.
Right.
Right. Like he knows how to find solutions. He's a bright kid. So I've done that now. I've vented. Now I feel better. It's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating.
I get it.
So
Can I ask what the what's the do you mind sharing, like, what's the repercussion? Like, okay, you're being a dick in school, you're being disruptive, the teachers called you out. Like, what's the I don't want to say punishment.
The only thing we have left is no time on the PS4. That's the only thing that we have left that works.
Yeah.
Because he has a PS4, and so he has limited time on as it is, and we take it away. But it doesn't change the behavior. It's just, okay, so he won't have it for a couple of days, and then he'll have it back. It's like that. It actually improves the behavior. Just gives us some satisfaction that we actually went through on what we said we are. Which, for the parents out there, know that that's 90% of the game, is just establishing the boundary, holding the boundaries. Kids need those things, right?
Yep.
So we got a host of topics here. Host of topics. Since we're on like 10 or 11 days since we last recorded. Do you want to start with what do you want to start with? I don't fucking care.
Let me start by saying that I listened to our last podcast, at least the part with Joe, because Joe puts us this $100,000 challenge, right?
Right.
Typical Joe fashion, just rolls it out, no details, obviously hasn't run it by anybody. The one thing that stuck out to me, right? The one thing that stuck out was he mentioned 2 Spartan pro names. What were they?
Well, of course.
Hunter and Isaiah.
I'm surprised he didn't say Amelia. I'm really surprised he didn't say Amelia.
Did you listen to his Joe Rogan podcast?
Or April D. I was going to, and then I went to Timecode Guy's comments. Thank you, Timecode Guy. And I was like, I've heard all these things before. I literally don't need to listen to this. That's honestly my thought. Because I figured, like, at least one of us should to talk about it.
Yeah.
Did you listen?
I probably got about halfway through it yesterday. Didn't even get to the Spartan part of things. Just essentially heard the stories about him helping guys lose weight and all this stuff.
Right.
I was just wondering if he mentioned any of the athletes, because I thought, what better way to promote your brand than to promote, look at Ryan Atkins and Rhea. They're going to be on a globally launched television show on Amazon Prime in less than a week, or about a week's time. You talk about doing all these crazy things, and he's like, yeah, I helped this guy lose 700 pounds. Why not bring up, and I don't know if he did. I'm guessing you didn't, because I did look at Timecode Guy's things too.
I'm gonna play a little trivia question. I'm gonna pretend. Let's play a game show. We're gonna have a game show. Okay.
All right. Do.
I'm the host. DeSena is the DeSena's the guest, the participant.
Contestant.
You're gonna be DeSena. I got a 3-part question for you, Joe DeSena, and you don't answer any of them until I'm complete. Okay, and then you really play the part of Joe DeSena on this one. Okay.
Okay.
It's a 3-part question. How they do this sometimes. Number 1, what television program are 2 of your pro team athletes going to be on a streaming platform? For bonus category, what are their names? For triple bonus category, what country are they from?
All right. Well, let me tell you a story first. So I'm at Wall Street, right? I'm working a job.
Right.
I owned a business, and I love these mafia guys. And I was in with these mafia guys, and I wanted to be one of the boys.
Right.
Hey, you got orange hair. You're not going to do it. So I gotta get out, right? I went and bought a farm. I got a farm. Something to that nature. But yeah, I'm guessing he doesn't.
So yeah. Now, if I was on Joe's team, as it were, I would have said, like, maybe try to sneak that in there. But he's basically, I don't know if you've ever heard Keith Allen refers to HobieBot. Have you ever heard that? HobieBot.
I've never heard that. It makes me sad.
HobieBot, whose avatar is the yellow robot from Yo Gabba Gabba, but with the word Hobie on it. What's the name of that robot?
I have no idea.
People are yelling it in their cars right now. Basically, whenever any time, it's gone away because he's gone less and less on Facebook. But once upon a time, any comment on Facebook, Hobie Bot would chime in how, he has the solution with the short track indoor televised racing, right? Like that was always Hobie's answer. So Joe, that's Joe. What you just said, right? Plus the cookie test, plus, whatever COVID story he's got now about trying to get into 5,600 countries and having to furlough everybody. Like he's on autopilot unless you get, dare I say me, right? Or someone who's going to like bust his balls or take him in another direction. Do you hear that? Can you shut my door, please? Can you shut my door, please? It's every 30 minutes to an hour in this house. Not even gonna edit this. You can feel, this is so the listener can, usually I do edit out these things. This is so the listener can feel my pain. Hey, Jackson, can you shut my door, buddy? Or River? That was River. I don't want to get Jackson in trouble for that. Jackson, could you shut my door? That didn't actually work. River just slammed my door, and it's now just as open as it was.
I'm sorry.
So Joe, because again, it's like they've just somehow tried to make him this thing that he isn't. You know what I mean? They've tried to make him this fucking thought leader thing.
Leader. Yeah.
Jackson, can you shut my door, please?
And he's not like it's not that he hasn't done great things, right? He's started this global phenomenon. I guess I'll call it that.
Absolutely.
But that's where it ends, right? And Spartan Race is a great thing. Obstacle course racing, great thing. Like say what you want about who started it, right? Spartan was like SpaceX, right? There's been a bunch of other people that did it, but these guys are like boom to the stratosphere.
Right.
But that's it. You created an obstacle course race.
But that's okay.
That is okay. But at the same time, if you want to now use this as a platform to launch yourself to be this like Gary V type character, right? Like Joe's giving us financial advice on Instagram. All right, listen, Apple announced a stock split. Stock is $400. Broke it into 4. Everybody thinks it's low. You got to buy Apple. Listen, it's not what you do. Like, I don't need that from Joe. I can get that from.
Or Joe could do that, but like sell it on a different channel. I don't know.
Right.
Listen, so anybody listening who doesn't think we love Joe, we love Joe. I personally have a relationship with Joe that I think supersedes our media, whatever. And the fact that you and I are willing to talk shit about him and his company proves that it's okay that I'm friends with the guy. So the first, you and I have both been to a lot of races, but for whatever reason, I guess the legacy wasn't really there. People loved the race, maybe when the book came out, but I definitely remember the cruise, the famed cruise in 2015 being the first time that I saw like person after person come up to Joe. Thank you. This changed my life. Whether it's the I lost weight or haven't felt this since the military, whatever it was kind of like, oh, people really like it's a direct thing with this guy. Now it's everywhere. Like if you go to a race, there's certain people that get stopped, constantly, right? Atkins, Rhea, Lindsay, all the top names get stopped a lot to take their picture. And Joe is now in that category. Joe is recognized as the founder and a guy that people love. And even he would tell you that, it's not like he intended to set the world on fire. He had this idea. He realized that they were onto something and he ran with it and has done a lot of good things since. Now, part 2 of that is let's make Spartan a lifestyle brand and launch everything from drinks to gyms to teas to books to 10 hunt combat. And you're going to be our cheerleader for those things. And we'll put you on Gary Vee. We'll put you on Joe Rogan. Make sure you talk about all these things. I mean, it's not selling tickets. Getting on Joe Rogan's not selling Spartan tickets. So what is the right?
Yeah, and I should have gone to look at like what the response, because Joe Rogan generally has a good amount of people with good name recognition on his show, right? You don't get on Joe Rogan unless you've made some headlines somewhere. I haven't seen what I'm just scrolling really quickly through Joe Rogan's subreddit to see if he's on there, but I haven't dug enough to see this. Like what the response is, right? If he's got Elon, and I'm not comparing Joe to Elon Musk, but if Rogan has Elon Musk on there, right, that's a major conversation, as opposed to Joe DeSena, who everybody in obstacle course racing knows who he is, so they're going to be enthused to listen. But does anybody outside of the sport know who Joe DeSena is? And I think that's where he suffers. And he's trying to get there, right? He's trying to expand and all this stuff, but I just don't know if he's there. So
I think there's just a flaw in the thinking overall of an outspoken CEO is the key to our success, right?
Right.
Because there's some companies where like it doesn't matter, right? You might not even know who the CEO is, or maybe you know their name, but they're not always outspoken. I think you can leverage a fun guy like Joe, right? Are you reading comments?
I just found, so every episode of Joe Rogan, there's a subreddit post for it. And the top comment is this just Joe Rogan talking to other Joe Rogan? This is getting out of hand. Now there's two of them. I don't know if AD&D is real. They did say that in the podcast. Lose 100 pounds in 30 days. Is that possible? Because they talked a lot about losing weight.
Right.
Apart from bullshitting about his success with making obese people drop weight at physically impossible rates, Joe DeSena, was lying all the way through that Slovakian deer hunter story. I'm glad Rogan called him out on it and just straight out said there's no way that's true. Never trust adults who wear backwards hats.
Oh, was he wearing a backwards hat?
He was wearing a backwards hat. Anybody else have a visceral feeling of repulsion after listening to this guy? Strong grifter vibes. As soon as he said he brings a 20 kilogram kettlebell everywhere he travels, I felt like this guy was full of shit.
But that's true. That's actually true.
That actually is true, but that's
listen,
how you come off.
They must have given him notes. They must have given Rogan notes, because he started with that. Like, so you fucking carry this kettlebell everywhere, bro?
Yeah. The amount of pseudoscience and big claims that this made me stop at 42 minutes. This is too much. There is a lot of pseudoscience on Joe Rogan as a whole. It's
right.
Not just
and
Joe
so
DeSena. Again,
it's like, why do I need to listen? It's like, why do I, Jude, Joe Rogan bores me. The 2-minute video of the guy who does the impression of every Joe Rogan episode, that to me is the show. And that's why I don't listen.
Yeah.
I go to YouTube clips of 4 to 6 minutes of the guest, because then I get to hear the guest say something. But to hear Joe, who honestly, Rogan that is, feels like to me, he's fucking sleepwalking through half of these conversations. He's just
probably high as fuck.
Yeah, so the amount of people, I mean, it's just brutal, bro. I mean, man, it's just amazing. Like that's Joe Rogan to me, and there's nothing interesting to me about it.
But this is kind of what I'm drawing in, like the perception out. So everybody that listens that's an obstacle course racing fan is going to love Joe, because the mystique of Joe is what it is. Outside of that, people aren't buying into it, and they're not falling for it the same way we are. Like, there's
if you or I had DeSena on for, what did they talk, 3 hours?
Probably, yeah.
It would be 100 times more entertaining, and we wouldn't even have to talk about OCR the entire time. It would be 100 times more entertaining.
We'd probably get the same stories. Lots of red flags for this dude. He's talking out his ass. As someone with decent knowledge of nutrition and weight loss, both my face and palm hurt. This guy is straight up lying. Like, there's just a lot of, like, yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't turn a lot of people on to Spartan.
No, he didn't even mention he didn't even mention Spartan until like the hour 20 mark. So, and that's what I feel like. That's what you should have focused on. Right? Talk Spartan, talk about this global movement, then throw the story in about the guy who was impacted by Spartan, who showed up at your farm and was 700 pounds. Also, the guy that showed up at his farm was a Comcast employee, he said. And I was like, wow, that's cool. He's like, yeah, he was a Comcast employee. They were nice enough to let him go on leave. And he
when they talk about are they talking about Chris Davis or somebody else? Because there's been a few.
He didn't mention his name.
Are you old enough, Josh? Are you old enough in OCR to remember Chris Davis?
I'm 40. OCR's 10.
I
think I'm old enough, but I don't know the story, I guess.
Do you remember the old Spartan videos, like when they used to recap each race and it was a big deal? We would like be dying to watch those to see, like we had heard who won, but we actually got to see it. And maybe like you'd see if a friend made it. Do you remember those days?
I do.
Like, I'm sure they featured you guys one time in them, right?
Yeah, a couple times.
Right.
Yeah, we were a pretty big deal.
Right.
Right.
Josh, here's a topic. Are regional groups dead, Josh?
Sort of. I think regional groups are dead in that.
By the way, we're not talking the Spartan groups. We're talking the New England Spartans, Gormer, Midwest Vikings, those.
Lehigh, Chicago Spartans, who I maintain Chicago Spartans have the best Akuma jersey design, hands down. I saw a couple of them at Savage 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were sort of a means to an end because it obviously is cool to find local people that you can work out with and get jazzed up with and all that stuff. And we still do that here. Like, we still have local groups and members of our gym that we still hang out with. But it used to be benefits at the event, right? You get biggest team tent, free bag check, free registration for certain things. Now that's all kind of gone away, or
free
people
weed.
just register. Yeah, free weed, yep. Or people now just register for whatever team they know is going to win because they want the free bag check. But you don't need that anymore because everybody gets bag check. You know, do you want a team tent and all that stuff? You know, it is what it is. I think we've sort of passed the top of that bell curve, and people have sort of formed their relationships, and you know, you meet new people as things go by, but not having any races will definitely hurt those communities and the sport as a whole. But
well, I think it's
certainly,
yeah. I mean, I think not having races help, but I'm saying that once upon a time, those groups were super active. You knew a large percentage of the people. We talked about racing nonstop. We couldn't wait to meet at more races. And then as all things happen, they get to a certain size, and it, you know what I mean? It just the world kind of, I don't know, just shifted in a way. Less people are on Facebook. Because they used to be great, and it's okay. Like, I'm not someone who's going to lament and be like, oh man, I wish Gormer had only 40 people again or 400 people again. Like, I'm okay. We got to 5,000. It meant less personalization, and fights started and people left. And
yeah.
And now
that's
it's not,
the way it works.
And now there's not much to it. And that's okay.
Yep. Because you got out of it what you put into it, right? You took out of it the relationships you wanted. You know, you'll find more people along the way, but I got no room in my life for new friends. I just got too much going on.
Well, I think it's why it's so exciting when you do make a new friend. It's why I had Armin on the show again today, because I love talking to that guy, and he turned me on to this cool show, F1 Drive to Survive. There's an entire episode now up about it, about 90 minutes of that, and then we talk about High Rocks and some other stuff. But yeah. So there you go. Can we talk about your thoughts on Mulan, Josh?
Sure. What would you like to know?
Do you think they outkicked their coverage?
As in, do I think they overpriced the product? Is that what you're asking me?
They overestimate their audience, Josh.
Yeah, a little bit. So
tell people what I'm talking about.
All right. So Disney, who owns all content in the world, announces, instead of delaying Mulan the new live action Mulan that's coming out, they're going to go direct to consumer via the Disney Plus streaming service, and not just give it to you included with your monthly subscription of only $6.99, but charge you a one-time fee of $30. Something they do similar on ESPN Plus. If you want to buy a UFC event, you get all of the day-to-day stuff free, but then you still have to pay a premium pay-per-view cost for the event, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with paying one-time costs with direct-to-consumer movies. When that cost hits $30 for Mulan, probably not for me. If I'm a family of 4 and I've got 2 kids, 100% I'm dropping that $30, right?
But do you remember me telling you what happened after I spent my $20 on the last one?
Yeah, you watched it for 10 minutes, your kids fucked off, and their attention span was gone.
He didn't even make it 10.
Yeah.
He made it about 2.
So my thing is, direct-to-consumer, totally okay with. I still want to go see stuff in the theaters when that happens. I know it's not going to happen for now. However, if you're going to give it to me direct-to-consumer, if I get it for $30, I either want it for a week, especially you, if you've got kids in the house, right? I don't want it for 24 hours, or just to watch it there and then you're done. I want it for a week, or I want to own it. You know, I'm not going to spend $50. I'd probably, if you put other options in front of me, that argument might change. But to spend $30 on Mulan, my whole thing is this. I'm worried about the escalation of it because, okay, now Mulan's $30. What is Black Widow going to be, right? Black Widow is a semi-top tier Marvel movie because we haven't had one in a long time, so it's going to pull some serious interest.
And who does it star, Josh?
Scarlett Johansson.
ScarJo.
Do they call her that?
Are you kidding me? Where have you been?
There's
a lot of annoying like nicknames and celebrity couple nicknames, but ScarJo is fucking ScarJo, bro. How about this, Josh? Have they not thought of this in the halls of your streaming world? We won't mention where you work, Josh, but Josh works for some place that might have streaming things. What about a little combo platter? Okay. $30, but $6 of it is Uber Eats credit, and now you order your popcorn or order something while you order the movie, and then what about that? Is anybody talking about this, Josh?
Comcast has already done that.
See, I know it.
You order like a pay-per-view movie, and we give you like a little pack with a microwave popcorn thing in it and all that stuff, and yeah, we've done stuff like that.
But how do you give that to me? How are you getting it to me?
Well, we're going to have to ship it to you, obviously. Or if you do like Fandango, we'll give you like a $5 movie concession credit, right? And you just use that at the movies and buy your soda pop and all that stuff.
I can't go to the movies, Josh. I need to have.
No, I know. This was pre-COVID.
Okay, I'm talking now. I'm talking the COVID plan.
All right, when we're done recording this, I'm going to go to the Peacock Slack channel, right? Because I'm sure we got one. I'm going to be like, boom. Peacock, movie, original programming, give me an Uber Eats credit. That's a good one.
Or whoever gives you the best deal.
Whatever. DoorDash, Grubhub, Drizzly, whatever.
Pornhub, whoever gives you the best deal.
How come,
Josh, why did you just look away, Josh?
I was trying to think of a
joke. Did you not just motion to Claire? Hang on.
I know what that's from.
Yeah, while you think about that, I'm going to hold on one second.
You have to unmute. You clicked mute. You have to.
Are you Googling it, you cocksucker? Are you Googling it?
I'm not Googling. I want to go back to the Mulan thing. So, escalation, right? $30 for Mulan. Okay, now you drop a Marvel movie. There's no way they're not going to charge $35. Maybe they charge $30 for the next one because it's so soon, right? But then what happens if next year all the movie theaters still are not open? Then you're hitting us with $40. Then you're raising monthly rates. So it's just.
What about this? What do you think? What if they were like, you know what? We're just gonna fucking shoot for the moon here. Let's just go 30. Okay. They go 30, right? They get a million whatevers. We just made 30 million bucks, right? Or however many. Backlash, backlash, backlash. All right, fine. And the second week they drop it down. Make it look like they listened to their customers, but they got a little money grab. By the way, I'm realizing 30 million is nothing. 30 million used to mean something. It's like, that's like not even a thing.
No, 30 million for movie production is nothing. Like that's a flop is what that is really.
Right. But I'm saying in a week, if you gather that dough, but that's not the talks. They're not lowering it. It is still 30.
Yep.
Okay.
Molly, we going to buy Mulan when it comes out? No. So we're out at 30. And for that reason, I'm out.
I don't really like this product line of Japanese animation. So for that reason, I'm out.
Molly, what Molly's a big Mulan. You like Mulan, right?
Yeah.
It's like one of your favorites. What would be the price point for you? 25, or would it have to be 20 to rent Mulan straight to your home instead of theaters?
Like $5.99.
Oh, Molly's insane. Molly's renting it 6 months from now.
If Josh dies and my wife dies, I am dating Molly. $5.99 is my price. That is my kind of gal.
And that's the thing. That's the thing that we've taught consumers, right? We have taught consumers that a movie rental is $5 or $6.
Yeah,
they have a hard time separating. Like, I'm still renting it. I'm still at home in front of my TV. Why is it $30? So,
dude, even when a newer-ish movie, like I remember when I wanted to see like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it was like 18 because it was still relatively new, and I was like, fuck you, I'm not giving you $18. Like, so forget 30. 18 was too much. $12.99 is too much. Like, owning it, like, it's funny though, because like this is a fascinating topic. We could do an entire psychology on this. Once Upon a Time. And again, this comes on the rewatchables a lot. Like if something comes out in a certain time frame, if something came out like late 80s, early 90s, so it hits the VHS market to rewatch, right? Then the DVD comes out and you're like, oh, there's even more extras in the DVD. Plus, how can I not own this on DVD? How can I not own Swingers on DVD? I love this movie so much, blah, 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 right? And, you know, do you even put it on that often? No. Maybe you put it on in the background when your friends come over to get drunk or whatever, right? A college student sort of experience. But do I ever need to own this? No. If I watch Captain America when it comes out or when it comes whatever, and like I have 2 days to watch it, I watch it, I move on with my life.
Yeah, and this is what I find interesting. Born in 79, pretty much 80, right? Child of the 80s. So late stage Gen X, early millennial. We've talked about this a ton. But one of the things I cannot get on board with is digital ownership of things. If it's not tangent, if it's not real, no, not tangent, tangible, right? If I don't physically own it, then I don't believe I own it at all. So there are no movies that I have ever purchased digitally. I've done rentals digitally because that just makes sense. You have it and it's gone. But the whole premise of this digital rental, right? Even with ebooks, it was supposed to lower the cost,
right? Because
there's no tangible product, there's no packaging, there's no shipping, there's no inventory space that you're paying, licensing fees, like all this stuff. It was supposed to lower the cost, and it never happened.
How many books did you read on your Kindle or equivalent?
None.
Okay, I read 2.
I lied. I do own 1 book on my iPad, and it's Ready Player One. It's the only book I ever bought.
But have you read it?
Yeah.
Have you read it on your Kindle? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I read like 2 and was like, you know what? I kind of like a book.
Yeah, and I mean, Molly loves books. She won't do anything digital.
Everybody does. Everybody does. It's the reason that you don't hear about the fucking Kindle anymore.
Yeah.
The Kindle was everybody's Christmas present in 2005.
Yep. And then they started putting advertisements on it.
Well, I didn't even get that far. But yes, the point of having some digital library, I already do, and it's called Netflix and Hulu and everything else. The cloud is already filled with 10 million titles that I might want to watch at any given time.
And this is why I don't understand consumer behavior sometimes, because look at when Netflix takes a show off of Netflix, or they lose, like, look at The Office, right? The Office is on Netflix. January 1st, 2021, you can get it on Peacock, by the way. January 21st, 2021, when it comes off, people are going to be like, what am I fucking paying for? I can't believe you did this to me. Like, look at your old Xbox. Your old Xbox, you bought all these digital titles, and all of a sudden they announced they stop supporting this service. Poof, they're gone. Even if it's on a platform that you, like, I could own 50 Dreamcast CDs right now, right? Games that I could play because I own the physical thing. If the system breaks, I still own these discs. They're still mine. So now, right, Disney Plus, let's just say it's a startup company and it doesn't make it 10 years. All that money you've dumped into it, you have nothing to show for it. So I, as a consumer, the one thing that I will sort of take a stand on is I will not purchase anything that is digital if I can avoid it. Whether it's transactional shit in video games that means nothing, digital ownership of movies and things like that, I won't do it, because there is no guarantee that that will always be yours. Where if I have a physical device in my hand, that is mine forever until the thing shits the bed or breaks, and then I have to seek other options. But I just can't do it.
It's going to be super interesting to see, because my 11-year-old son loves the hell out of them skins that he begs me to buy once in a while, and that once in a great while I acquiesce and say okay. So as he becomes an adult, teenager to early 20s, or if he's a big dork like you and plays games even in his 40s, like, does he still value those things, or does he realize that it's kind of pointless? But he's growing up in a world where that's a thing. Like, Dad, if I spend $10, I get these E-Bucks. What are they called? V-Bucks. And I get this cool skin, and I like it.
Yeah. And it's sort of, for kids, it's fucking easy, right? It's, you create something that's cool in pop culture, and boom, you've created demand, you've created social status. Like, that's fucking easy. Right?
Why did it take them so long to put cars in there, Josh? The cars just arrived in Fortnite.
That's because cars were added to other games, and then they became popular in Fortnite. It's like, all right, I guess we got to do that.
It seemed like an easy one to me.
Joe Rogan and DeSena did talk about one thing with video games that it kind of opened my eyes a little bit. He's like, all right, so Joe DeSena comes from not military. Joe DeSena comes from a background of endurance races and all this stuff. Joe Rogan comes from a background of Brazilian jiu-jitsu and all this stuff. So DeSena's like, listen, he's like, you want to play video games for a short period of time? Fine. He's like, but when you're doing it for 8 hours a day, at the end of the day, what do you get out of it? Nothing, right? Sure, your character might be more advanced. You might have cool skins or extra guns or stuff like that. But you yourself, what do you get out of it? Nothing.
The satisfaction that I saved the princess, motherfucker.
Yeah, well, that's all well and good, but in the reality, it's so Rogan is like, look at Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You're working hard to achieve something, and one day your instructor comes up and wraps a brown belt around your waist. You have achieved a task that you set out to complete, and you see other people like, fuck, that guy's a black belt. I really want to get there. And you want that day of satisfaction where he puts the belt on you. Video games are different. There is satisfaction, but it's almost fake if you think about it, right? It's like fake satisfaction, because
unless you are good enough to actually win money, and then I suppose that feels good.
And that's what somebody brought up, right? It's like, okay, well, now my kids are like, Dad, there's people out there that make money. That is the top 1% of the top 1% that are out there doing that. And with how fickle the industry is, like, people's attention spans just shift, and they're like, okay, oh, Fortnite's not cool anymore. Boom, now I got to do this thing. And oh, wait, if you're not great at a ton of these things, then you get left behind, much like my Z Cavarici pants that I had back in the 80s. So, or my skids. Remember those? Remember that we wore clothes that were called skids?
I'm going to back up a minute. Did you own a pair of Cavaricis?
No, I did not. No, I was, for a very short period of time, I was a Jinko kid. Very short period of time. And
what's a Jinko?
That's it. Jinkos? Google them. JNCO. Huge bottomed pants that like the skaters and everybody wore? People that wear Jinko jeans
Oh,
people that wore Jinko jeans right now are looking back in their lives like, good God, I wore those too. What was I thinking? So yeah.
wow. I'm sorry, dude.
That's okay.
It's been a rough day. Well, I think since we last spoke, we've both been nasal swabbed.
Yeah.
Enter.
I saw your you gave like a shot by shot, and I saw your one response.
Go ahead.
While River's gone, can I maybe play the game for a little bit?
Did River go with mommy?
Yeah.
She said he wasn't going.
Well, he just went. So like when I'll be on for like 45 minutes. I'll be on before he gets home. Is that fine?
No.
Please, bro. I really want to see my progression on PC and Fortnite.
You really want to see what?
My progression.
What? Let's talk to Josh about this. Come on in. Tell Josh what you just bought with. Hang on. Come down here because that will make too much choice. Tell Josh what you just bought with your $20.
A keyboard.
What'd you buy?
A keyboard and mouse.
Because
Keyboard
why?
and mouse beats controller every day.
Because why, Josh Jackson?
To play Fortnite with it.
Talk closer.
To play Fortnite with it.
But remember how you were begging me for a PC, and what did we learn instead?
That you could connect it to the PS4.
So we did that, and he painted the keys.
Nice. You got to the WASD keys. You got to call them out, man. I get that. So wait, Jackson? What did you want to see? What did you want to check on?
My progression on PC Fortnite. Well, it's basically PC because it's keyboard and mouse. So.
Right.
Josh,
How do you?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, how do you feel? Your play has. Do you feel like your play has improved with the keyboard and mouse over the controller? Yeah.
You have to speak because we're on a podcast.
Yeah.
Jackson, what do you want to get better at? Like, which specific skills are you good at in Fortnite? Which skills do you want to get better
On
at?
PC?
Just in playing the
Oh,
game.
okay. So what I want to get better at, I don't really have anything to get better at on controller because I'm already really good at the game.
Okay.
I mean, my aim is good, my building is good. Mostly every like, what's it called? Damn it. Forgot what it's called. Like, it's like mechanics you need to actually play the game.
Okay.
So on keyboard, what do you want to get better at?
Building, aiming, editing, and almost everything.
Yeah. Well, it's a totally different control set, so it's.
Yeah. It's going to take some time to get good at.
Do you want to one day
Patience.
win money? Do you want to one day win money on Fortnite? What if Fortnite, Josh was just saying, you know how things change over time?
Mm-hmm.
But like GTA gets big or, you know, whatever, the different games get big. What if Fortnite's not big? You might have to move to something else.
Yeah, probably.
By the time you're like old.
Yeah, like when I'm like maybe 15 and Fortnite's dead, I'll play something else.
Now, I don't find Fortnite that interesting, but to me, like GTA is so fucking super cool and I do want to play that, but I also hear it's very violent. Would that be bad for me to play with my kid?
Yeah.
Is there a PG-13 version?
No, but there is SEX in it. So.
There is.
There's NUDITY.
Yeah.
There's no PG-13 version.
No.
The whole premise of that movie or that game is to not be PG-13.
Okay.
It's rated TV, and I'm sure.
Okay.
18 plus.
Do you want? Are you interested in Mulan, Jackson?
No.
Are you interested in Black Widow coming out?
More than Mulan.
Do you know who's going to star in Black Widow?
Yes, Scarlett Johansson.
How does Dad feel about Scarlett Johansson?
You love her.
Do you know what Scarlett Johansson's nickname is, Jackson?
Shit. I think I've heard it before. What does it start with? What does her nickname start with?
Scar.
Damn it!
They call her ScarJo, apparently. I just learned this today too.
Have you heard her called ScarJo?
I've heard Scar, but not ScarJo.
See you later, bro.
Can I use the controller?
No.
Please. Well, River's gone.
Were you good in school today?
Yes.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
What are you talking
At the
about?
end, I was really nice, and at the beginning, yes, I was.
At the end and at the beginning. What about in the middle?
Yes, I was pretty. Dad, I was actually not bad in the middle. I was actually fine. Promise.
Buddy,
You can
you.
ask Mom.
I know you'll get your time later, dude.
I don't want to wait 3 more hours.
But you're gonna have to, my friend. I gotta finish this call now, buddy. Shut my door, please.
That was tough but fair, man.
He was horrible today. You don't know what he's talking about.
No. I like how he pleaded his case, though.
But then he gets all pissed and storms off, and then wonders why. Like you, then
Right.
it's like, well, that's the whole reason. Like you
Yeah.
you need to learn to fucking behave, dude.
Yep. It's
And if anybody listening thinks it's not appropriate that I have my kid on here or that we talk about all this stuff, you can suck it. Okay, so wait a minute. Did Mulan already come out? You asked. Was there a previous Mulan?
well, there was the original Mulan movie from the 80s or 90s. I don't know. Mulan. IMDb.
What about-
1998.
And it's ready for a reboot.
Ready for a reboot.
What about Moulin Rouge? Is that in the same canon or is that different?
Moulin Rouge is what happens after Mulan. I believe she takes over the Ming Dynasty, and then murders her whole family, and that's where the Rouge comes in.
You want to hear something funny? I want to tell you a humorous. People seem to love my humorous anecdotes from the late 90s, early 2000s, Josh. People seem to, like who knew that like me working for a lawn care company was interesting to people, but apparently it was. So
People are desperate for content.
Clearly, these are rough COVID times. So this woman that I know works for one of these marketing movie companies, and she goes, "Hey, I need you to come watch this movie, right? And then be one of those people they talk to after the movie. Like, when they used to do these, I don't know if they still do them.
Yeah.
Like, I loved it. My whole family loved it, right?
Oh my God, I watched the whole movie from between my fingers. I was so scared.
So I was supposed to be a male who could, in fact, enjoy Moulin Rouge, right? That was my role.
All right.
So I sit through this fucking thing. I'm genuinely surprised at how bad it is and how overdone the singing is. And I still did my part, right? Like, oh, wow, it was great for these reasons. But then I go home, and in the coming days and weeks and now years, people love this fucking movie. Like, love it. And I'm like, what a piece of trash. Like, every single time they break out into song, to me, it's like a parody of people breaking out into songs, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're ruining really good songs. Elton John, Beatles, like, they're anyway. I can't believe people like Moulin Rouge. That's my take on today.
All right.
So
that has to be the title of the show.
So Josh filmed his COVID test, puts it on Discord with no spoiler, and makes me fucking squeamish for a good 2 minutes while I hit D to get the screen to go up.
Matt had a COVID test. Matt has had 2 COVID tests, although one was blood and one was swab, right?
I've had 2 blood and one swab because I'm committed to being safe.
Yeah, Matt's going to be playing quarterback for the New England Patriots, apparently, with how many COVID tests he gets.
I'll be the only one left.
So I got swabbed today, Molly and I. Relatively simple process. Go through an online screening, show up at the thing, stay in your car, stab the back of your brain. The swine flu test was worse than the COVID swab, to be honest, because swine flu, they actually went in there and rotated. They had to do it 7 times. It was like a set process. They're like, we got to go back, and then 7. And she counted out loud. She's like 1, 2, and I was like, stop, make it stop. And then they did the other side. And when the lady went to put my second swab in the container, this was swine flu 10 years ago, she fucking dropped it. So she had to go, I got to go do that again. So she had to do it.
Why did you get tested for swine flu?
Because I had swine flu.
Why then? I repeat again, why get tested?
Well, I didn't know at the time I had swine flu, but
what if I told you that I got paid to get tested this time around?
yeah, I got an email about that. If you if you had a test, if you had a positive test, they want, and they got billboards up now. We saw a bunch in like Chicago.
No, I got look, Facebook ad, get paid to do a test. I click on it. Have you ever had a symptom in the last 7 days? And I was like, well, clearly this is the test. So I will say yes. Which one? Cough. Great. We'll call you. The lady calls me. Blah, 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 blah. Have you had any symptoms in the last blah, blah, blah? Yeah, I had a cough a few days ago. Okay, great. You qualify. I drove up to the thing. They hand me a card, a little debit card. They're like, this is $75 of a debit card. Once we process this, we'll give you the money. And I used it for dunks for the next like 5 or 6 days. The reason they're paying is because they are testing the test. They are not testing. I would not do a drug test for $75. You have to pay me a lot more to take some experimental shit. But basically they tested the test. Like, we're doing this other different way of testing it. And so we're going to do 2 swabs each nostril. So yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
I don't think Molly would accept that.
It was rough. But yeah, I already spent my $75. Thought about doing it again. I might do it again. Bunch of free coffees for 30 minutes of my time. You know what I mean? Relatively close to my house. Although I was like, you would like this. I should have asked when Jackson was close for this one, because it was like, and then like she's done, and I go, and I sneeze a couple of times and I cough. And so after each time I did that for the 4 things. And when we were done, I said, was I that bad? Like, am I probably like the biggest baby you've seen? And she's like, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
No hesitation. Didn't try to make me feel better. And Jackson just started cracking up. So I wish Jackson was here to deliver that news.
The funny thing was, so we had 2 people come out. I'm in the driver's seat. Molly's in the passenger seat. The one doctor is talking to me, and I could tell he was intentionally trying to distract me because Molly went first, as if like if I saw it,
I would chicken out.
And I don't care. Whatever. It is what it is. The lady does it to Molly. Sorry, Molly. I'm putting this on the air. And I have the audio. I don't have it on video, but all I heard was her like, okay, enough, stop. And the poor woman was like, I'm so sorry. I feel like I just assaulted you. It wasn't bad. It just, you have you literally have this probably 8-inch swab touching the back of your sinuses. So your eyes are going to tear up.
I know,
your
but
nose
just stop
is
talking, because you're making me squeamish, and I did it.
Sorry.
And other people are listening and they don't want to be squeamish. But yes, I'm especially squeamish about all things. So it was rough, but I can't wait.
If you want to see it, join the Discord, bit.ly/OCR chat.
Or if you want to see just pictures, but not actual video. Mine, I said you had to swipe to see the, you know what I mean? Like, at least I made it so you had to swipe.
No. If you're already following me, you're consenting for that stuff. You've already opted into my EULA.
What's EULA?
End user license agreement.
Oh, wow. Hang on. Josh, do you know that you can fly from Boston to places for $20 on JetBlue right now? That does not instill confidence in me. When you say fly as low as $20, I go, no, make me pay more. That's scary. I don't want to only be giving you $20. What corners are you cutting so that I can fly for $20?
I paid $17 one way for my trip from Chicago to Boston on JetBlue. $17.
Not shitty whatchamacallit, not Spirit.
It was the same price. It was $17 Boston to Chicago on Spirit, $17 Chicago to Boston on JetBlue, $34 for me, $34 for Molly, and $66 for our check back. So
hang on a second. I'm checking my raced emails. So first of all, should I activate battle mode? I was asked if I wanted to activate battle mode, Josh.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about this. Put a pin in this.
Okay. Also, other 2 things that have come up. I completed a 5K on Strava and a 10K on Strava. It looks like in the same day. I must be really good. I just say yes to all those challenges on Strava. I don't know if you do or not. Hey, this is very exciting. I haven't checked in a couple days. I'm seeing if I got my test results. That's why I'm at this thing. Reward offered for a new survey on jet opinions. Hurricane heat versus HH12. What to know? Hang on. Hurry, double cash back on essential oils for Rakuten, or essentials. Sorry. Do you get emails from Rakuten?
I do.
Do they get you excited?
They get me optimistic because Rakuten means optimism.
Do you know that Dahani Jones joined the Pocket Outdoor Media Board of Directors?
No. Did you know that Facebook deleted a Trump post for the first time in history?
Hang on a second. What's Pocket Outdoor Media? I feel like that's a thing that I should know about. What's Pocket Outdoor Media? What do they do? Running triathlete, better nutrition, ski, backpacker. Oh, a bunch of shitty magazines that nobody reads anymore.
They own and operate the premier endurance sport media properties in the U.S.
How could I be so wrong? So we usually avoid all Trump talk on this podcast, but I would like to know the content of this particular post. First of all, I didn't even know he did Facebook. I thought he was Mr. Twitter, but
he is Mr. Twitter, but he also has a. So the Trump conglomerate, right? All the people are like starting to become very anti-Twitter because Twitter's so left-leaning and all this stuff. So there's a new social media network out there called Parler. I don't know if you've heard of this.
No, sounds exciting.
It's not. So I any new social media network that pops up, I'll sign up for it and try and get in early. So this time, everybody has a username. It's your little @ symbol. I get in so early, I got to get @Chace. That's me.
Dude,
I don't know if this thing's ever going to become, but
hang on. I have to hurry up and get in and become Matt B. Davis before somebody steals it.
I think you'll be okay.
I like to be Matt B. Davis on all platforms so that I can say I'm Matt B. Davis on all platforms.
That is true. I don't even know what this post was because I clicked the link and it's not immediately accessible. CNN will tell me. Say what you want.
You should have just go steal a bunch of cool ones. Go squat, and then people pay you for them later. I
usually do that. I have a couple on Instagram. I have a couple on Instagram, one of which is really good, but
Josh,
obstacle course racing, not a thing.
Josh,
yeah.
If you've got good ones like non-OCR related, seriously, people buy those from you. Like, you know this. You're a tech guy.
I do.
If you've got like penguin or giraffe or, you know what I mean, coffee, yep. Do you have anything like that?
I do have a couple good tech ones. One of them I had actually been offered a service in trade. I don't want a service. I want money. So I'll just hang on to that one.
Yeah, fuck that.
But
shit.
yeah,
hang on. I'm going to claim this. I'm like doing this fast as if listeners are listening live.
as if we're streaming this live and somebody's going to beat you to it. Yeah.
Here we go. Do they want to send me notification? Not allow. Nickname. Is my nickname my actual name?
I don't know.
They have gender, male, female, or prefer not to say. I like to identify as an Asian dog. So that was for one particular listener, and he or she knows who they are. My age. This is very exciting. Did you put an avatar? Did you put a picture?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I already deleted the app. I just wanted to reserve the.
My photo from my library is going to be. Let's see. A dog. This was me. Somebody sent me this, so I'll just use that. Just use that. Why not? Hang on. They'd like to access my microphone. Sure, why not? Don't be a bully. Don't be appropriate. Don't use Parlor to break the law. I agree. Wait a minute. It just went to TikTok. That's fucking weird. What's going on? Is that a TikTok ad? What is going on here? Can I at least add you as a friend?
I would assume so.
This is so weird. I'm already getting weird ass ads. This app already sucks. Why would they think this is going to work? That the first thing I fucking see is an ad.
Listen, Matt, social media is all about selling advertisements.
The first thing it says, Josh, is an ad from TikTok. Okay, saying install. And then on the bottom, there's this moving ad, which is tricking my old eyes that says, is he, she cheating on you? Open and find out.
That's weird.
Do I post? No call history, friends. This is so fucking bizarre, Josh. I seriously don't know how to work this. Is it Android only?
No, I have it on my phone right now. I just downloaded it, and I have since logged in.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Anyway, this app does suck.
Try to send me a message. I'm at Matt B. Davis. Try to send me a message. It didn't even like say.
Users at Matt B. Davis. There's a guy, when I search users for at Matt B. Davis, there's a guy that comes up, and his name is at Eat Sleep Swag, and his name is Matt B. Davis.
Okay.
Anyway, Parlor sucks.
Well, I just be quiet for a second so that I can shorten the silence on this because I really do want to fucking figure this out. Just give me 1 second. How do I send you a message? How do I send you a message, Josh?
I honestly don't know.
No, how did you get Matt B. Davis? Because when I hit messages, it says Brittany from 2 years ago.
I went into search over on the bottom right, and I typed in Matt B. Davis.
I don't have search in the bottom right.
You're in a different app altogether, I think. Are you in Parler, Parler?
Oh, my God. Am I in the... No,
You're
I'm in
Parlor.
OR. I'm in Parlor, Parlor. Is that wrong?
Yes, that's
Fuck.
wrong.
God damn it. God damn it.
I'll go ahead and send this to you.
Now somebody really is going to steal my name because we took so long.
Well, you can do this after the fact. I've sent you the link.
Oh, my God. Like, what a fucking boomer move. Like, the wrong one. It looks good.
Now I'm interested into what Parlor is.
A thing that serves you ads. Would you like an app that merely serves you ads?
The social talking app.
It's a fake, Josh. It serves you ads. It's bullshit.
You know what Parlor rhymes with, Matt?
No.
Parkour.
Parkour.
You want to talk about somebody who does parkour?
Joe DeSena? Oh! Woo!
Dr. L's going to love that one.
Have you been to that gym? I want to know who's been to that gym. Nobody's commented like, oh my God, I've been at that warped wall.
Well, no, I've never been to that gym.
But it's in New England.
It's in New Jersey, isn't it?
Josh, you've been to New Jersey so many times.
But first off, New Jersey is not New England.
Josh, quick personal question. You can only pick one answer. This is for your personal tastes. Are you ready?
Ready.
Use strong password, choose my own password.
Choose your own password every time. Because I'm never on an iOS device at all times. So what do you do in that case? Like, all right, I log on to my Windows computer and it's like, oh, I didn't remember my 32-digit password.
It's not even letting me go in here. What the fuck?
7 minutes later, Matt is still struggling to sign into.
He's
probably signing into Parler with an I this time.
Oh my God, what a creepy CAPTCHA it just gave me. That's weird. I've never seen that. Josh, if I told you to tell me which ones were streetlights, what percentage do you think you would get correct? First time out.
Oh, the little 9 square thing? All of them. I crushed those things. I'm so good at that game.
Okay, it gave me a shitty name. Let's rechange it. Hang on. Same dog. Okay, now search Matt B. Davis.
A Parler or a Parlor?
On the right one. Anybody who says this is boring to listen to, again, go fuck yourself.
I I got you, bro. I'm following you.
I got no notification. There we go.
Because you said no notifications.
Wait, I got upvoted.
I upvoted you.
Okay, that's it. That's me. Now, when this thing becomes the shit in 10 years,
boom. Matt will forget. Yeah, account and it'll be Matt B. Davis 1.
all right. So, do you want to talk about parkour and or Ninja Warrior?
Sure.
I just want to say that it's, you know, a lot of people get busted for these things lately. A lot of people. And even though this is not OCR related, most of us know probably at least a person that's been on the show, and some of us know more. I've met several. I reached out to a few, just like, how's the community taking this? And they're kind of fucked up by it because they all like this guy. It's easy if it's someone you don't like, right? Fucked up is like nothing's on the record. It's just, hey, what are you like? How is the community handling this? It's just the feeling I get, my personal opinion on the responses I've gotten from the various ninja. What's the plural of ninja? Ninjas?
Ninja.
Is, yeah, what the fuck? Like, one guy was angry about it. One guy was like, you know, it's bad for the community and he's a piece of shit. There was one, and then there was just a lot of like, what? We don't know what to do.
I think there's a lot of just like, yeesh. Like, I think that's the collective community response. Yeah, this is pretty awful. I mean, in light of plenty of this news coming out, right? Sadly, there's just a lot of this. So I'm not shocked by a lot of stuff, and I'm not really disappointed because I have no investment in like the ninja community. I'm sure there's plenty of people that are disappointed, but what the fuck? I guess that's all I can say. It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I gotta say that my visceral reaction to a teenage girl is to get as far away as possible. How about that? Like, that's just, and it's not just because I have a daughter either. It's just like, we have people who follow us in ORM, and if I happen to look and they look really young, I'm like, yep, I can't even talk to you. Like, I'm not going to even talk to you because it's criminal. And yeah.
So here's,
but just before we whatever, like, but to give, not the phrase benefit of the doubt, to give some sort of, I think any adult male over the age of 30 has seen someone they thought was attractive, and then as they got closer, we're like, wow, she's probably too, yeah, I need to go the other way. Like, you can physically, humanly be attractive to a teenage person, but then realize that is nope, not, that's too young. Like, that's not even, she's not in her 20s. Right. This is not even debatable. I need to get the fuck away. This guy messaged this person, met her, and then said, next time you're up here, we're probably going to get it on. So it's a whole thing. It's not a, oops, I didn't know how old she was until she left. Right. Yeah.
And then he tried to pull that afterwards, right?
Even though it was her 15th birthday party. Right.
That was his response. Was, I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but it was, he admitted it to did he admit it to the mother, I think? Because the mother like approached him.
Yes.
And then he was like, yes, we did it, but I didn't know how old she was. Bullshit. My first reaction when any of these news things come out is, let's go see what their social media looks like. He killed it all. He closed down his Twitter, closed down his Instagram.
It was open for a minute because I looked, and the most recent posts were about him and his kid, sadly. So
yeah. Yeah. Pretty awful. And then I was reading the Department of Justice quote, and I won't read the specific accounts for obvious reasons, but one count includes maximum sentence of life in prison. The other one, maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. The other one, maximum sentence of 30 years.
Well, he's not going to get life. He's not going to get any.
Yeah, he's not going to get any of that.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, hopefully, listener, reader, watcher, when you see these things, the first thing you need to do is read the fucking thing. So I see somebody messages me, Matt, did you see this? So I immediately Google his name and 3 headlines come up and it tells you who they're from, right? One is Fox, one is something I've never fucking heard of, one is TMZ, and one is the Washington Post. I'm going to go ahead and go to the Washington Post. Not that they don't probably do some shitty things either, but let's try to go with the most credible first. And even know the headline is going to say something like teen porn ring. Let's find out what actually happened before we go nuts, right? So what this person did was have sex with a young person, a teenager, and traded photos. It's a lot different than teenage fucking porn ring, which is what the headlines kind of say, right? Big difference.
Yeah.
Not that it's not okay to do those things, but in the world of clickbait and bullshit, I like to actually see and then read a couple of accounts. I went to a few different sites, wait a few hours, see what he said. And then it's like, okay, this is clearly what happened. He met this girl, he had sex. He did not have he didn't make porn with her. Even though the crime looks the way that you name the crime, it looks that way.
Yeah, but he intends to enter a not guilty plea, so from his lawyer who posted in his Apple Notes screenshot and spelled his own email address incorrectly.
That seemed odd to me. That seemed odd. Spelling the own email address wrong was a tough look.
It's a weird flex.
That was a tough look.
I guess that's one way to keep the media off your back. This is unfortunate, and American Ninja Warrior.
So how does the show handle it?
They just edit him out. Like they've already filmed the next mini season.
Right. But what about him? He won the $1 million.
No mention of him ever again. They don't bring it up. I mean, NBC has already announced that they severed all ties with him.
So as they get to the finals for this, not this year, but next year. And as you know, only one person has won the $1 million in the past, right? I mean, what are you going to do?
They just never bring it up. Or you know what they do is they change the monetary award and they say there's only ever been one $1.5 million winner, right? They do something to eliminate him completely.
Do they scrape every fucking video on YouTube and NBC.com? Yeah. Wait a minute, you work for the Peacock. Find out for us.
I will, but I don't think you do that.
So for a long time,
not yet.
For a long time, when Hulk Hogan was in his thing, the WWE refused to acknowledge his existence. He wasn't in any promotional material. But in the recent years, he's been welcomed back. Because if you watch any WWE, you know that their opening title is Then, Now, Forever. And so they love to honor their legacy. And it was like he didn't exist for a minute.
Yep. And that's, you sort of have to do that, right? You have to step back and step away. And then when the final curtain comes down, right? And this could be the same thing. If it comes down that if he is guilty and he gets sentenced, then you pull all that content, right? Then you get rid of all that. For now, you just sort of, you cut ties, you move on, and you go from there. So every now and again, I go to the Gawker.com website and I just read that last entry about the Hulk Hogan thing, and it's pretty entertaining. Scumbags.
Yeah, I had about 5 more topics, but it's now late in the day. I never record this late. I'm out of gas. My kids frustrated me. Then you and I talked.
What news are they going to drop on us now that we've recorded? Do you think they don't even have any news? Are we going to get a $100,000 meme announcement? Or are they still bugging? They are doing the DecaFit virtual race. We got Tough Mudder, virtual Fiji race, Spartan VR anywhere. Are you done with virtual races, Matt? You're not done, are you? You've still got one more in you.
I mean, like you mean putting them on? I thought we already had this conversation.
Well, just in general, like I'm over virtual races. There's just a billion of them now.
I know. They suck.
It's overwhelming. They're too complicated. Nobody wants to do them anymore. There's no social media interest in them. But we're having a 4th ultra virus, it sounds like.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I say we. It's not me at all. So. All
right, Josh. I'm getting off the phone.
All right, Matt. Good luck with school as it continues. I wish you the best.